All right, hello and welcome to episode 24 of Diggs.Sideline.Podcast. As always, we are your hosts. I am Sam DeCosmo.
And my name is Patrick Alonia. And joining us today is our good friend. I'll let him introduce himself.
My name is Ben Wagner. I'm a 19-year lifelong Viking fan. Go Vikes.
Love it. He's rocking his Diggs jersey, which we got a fun little story behind that we can get into in a bit here.
But let's get into this week. Week 13 in Seattle. It's going to be a big game. Both teams are vying for controls of their division. That's guessing if San Francisco loses to the Ravens, which they probably will. But so if San Francisco loses, that means that each team's respective division is up for grabs. So it's going to be a big game.
There's a lot on the line here. And
Monday Night Football
too. And if I can just be honest,
Booger McFarland. Come on.
Diggs loves him.
If by love you mean hate, then yeah, he loves him.
I gotta be honest. Okay, I want to know everyone's feelings heading into the game. I'm gonna hit you guys with mine, and I'm feeling extremely well heading into this game. Like the best I felt all year.
Yeah.
I feel good.
Why? Tell me why.
I just feel like, and the more we've talked about it, the more I've realized that Seattle is a very, very beatable team. And even though I have this old paranoia from how Russell Wilson always does his magic, right? He can still do that any given week, right?
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that we're going to be able to oust them in the long run. It won't be an easy game, but I'm feeling good.
Okay? I really hope so. I just feel tough going into Seattle. We've never had good luck going into Seattle, and Russell's so good at home, and the 12th man is just unbelievable. I feel like it'll be tough, but we've been playing hot, so hopefully we can get something done.
I think it's going to be a tough game. I'm going to go ahead and say that Seattle is not a very good team. I don't think that they're a good team. I think that Russell Wilson is a phenomenal quarterback, but I don't think Seattle's a good team. So they're 9-2, but here's where their wins came against. The Bengals, who are actively tanking. The Steelers, whose quarterback room has been a carousel.
Right.
The Saints beat the Seahawks. The Cardinals
with Teddy.
Yeah, with
Teddy. That's true.
With Teddy.
Are you saying that Teddy sucks?
No, I love Teddy, but he's no true.
Teddy is the best quarterback in the Saints locker room. So that's just all I'm going to say.
I don't know about that.
So anyway, Seahawks beat the Cardinals, which was a division game, but game 4, it was Kyler Murray's 4th professional football game. So they beat the Rams, again, another division game, but the Rams just had 45 put up on them last night. So I don't think the Rams aren't who they were last year. The Seahawks went ahead and beat the Browns, lost to the Ravens, beat the Falcons, who we also beat. This was before the Falcons decided they wanted to be good. Beat the Buccaneers, who are not a good team, and then they lost to the 49ers, and then they beat the Eagles. And I think that this Eagles game is what we're going to focus on most on in our podcast today. But I just wanted to point, none of their wins are all that impressive, and their losses are against teams that are going to be making the playoffs, and all of their wins are against teams that will, quite frankly, not be in the playoffs. So
I want to stop you there because we have a lot of our wins are against, not a lot of them, but I'd say there's a fair share that are also against sloppy teams. So I'm not a fan of using that as a metric.
You know what I mean? I agree with you, but I'm just saying they're a team that is definitely beatable. And if you watch that Eagles game, it was pretty evident. We can get into it. The total score of the game 17-9, and that 17 one of those touchdowns came in garbage time at the end. Mm-hmm. But looking at Russell Wilson's stats, Russell Wilson had some good plays, but his stat line was not impressive. 13 for 25, 174 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was sacked 6 times.
Well, their O-line is still not where it was back when.
Their O-line's not great.
The Eagles have a tremendous
front
four.
They do, for sure.
I totally agree. But, Russell Wilson, for him being the strength of their team, and he absolutely is, and he can put up some magic, not a fantastic stat line. Rashad Penny had 14 carries for 129 yards, but he had one of those runs was for 58 yards. And a touchdown. So he did good things for them, but that was more of a breakaway play. They just kept pounding the rock because they had the lead, and the weather was poor. So it was a game where they were going to run heavy anyway. And if you look at their receivers, nobody had that great of a day. Their biggest receiver was Tyler Lockett. He had 1 reception for 38 yards. DK Metcalf had 3 receptions on 6 targets, 35 yards, and he dropped 2 passes that were touchdowns. And it wasn't like, the plays were, the defense wasn't stellar. They were there. They weren't stellar, but he just straight up dropped them. His hands were made of rocks. I just don't think that Seattle is they're not the Legion of Boom anymore. They're just not. Right.
Ben, I want to hear your opinion on Seattle. Give me your breakdown. I'm dying to know.
From last week, it was a good sign that they couldn't put up much on the Eagles because we torched the Eagles and their secondary's terrible. And so the fact that they couldn't get the pass game going was a really good sign. In that game, Russ missed a wide open touchdown to Jake Hollister, their tight end.
Oh yeah, so, I remember that.
Could have been a little bigger if he wouldn't have choked that throw, but I think they're a beatable team. They've shown that they're not that good, and they had sloppy mistakes last week.
So could we be saying that the 12th man is our biggest opponent on Monday?
I think so. I think we've lost the last 2 or 3 in Seattle.
Yeah, so right. And that's why I'm saying. Okay, I think with the Packers losing last Sunday night, which by the way, thank you Niner Nation.
Oh my god,
that was I have not had that much fun watching the game this year.
41 Donut. Oh, you know what? It wasn't quite 41 Donut, but the spirit of 41 Donut was definitely alive in the air.
So for anyone who doesn't know what Sam's referring to, he made the prediction that it would be 41 Donut. Niners were going to win 41-0 against the Packers.
Pretty close.
You know what? Pretty darn close. I got to give him credit for it.
The spirit was there.
Not that he knows. Not that he was going to know that was going to happen.
They exposed the Packers for who they are, and that's not a good football team.
Yeah, and man, okay, I want to make one more observation. So that Niners defense, you know what that reminds me of? Mike Zimmer's defense of the first and second year that he was here.
Yes,
we had fresh young legs. We had Barr, Kendricks.
Oh yeah, just all over the field, and just breaking things up.
Not even that, but I'm saying like the second anyone would catch it in the flat, there was a cornerback just flying in there,
and they couldn't get anything.
Yeah, and so when I compare that to the Vikings team right now, you can just tell that they're just a little older. You know what I mean?
Honestly, yeah, I totally agree. And watching that Niners Packers game, I'm kind of hoping that like any given Sunday, some other NFC team is going to knock them off in the playoffs. I do not want to face that 49ers team with that defense. Mm-hmm. You know, in the playoffs. By the way, their defensive coordinator, jacked dude, looks like he could suit up himself.
Yeah. His head is a perfect cue ball.
Definitely polishes it daily.
They just have so much depth on their front 4 and their front 7.
Well, they do. They have that.
Scary. They can keep
is that Joey or
healthy.
Nick Bosa?
It's
I think Nick Bosa.
Nick, yeah.
And they. I mean,
DeForest Buckner.
Even Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman. He had some dumb penalties, but old guy is still tight in his coverage. Mm-hmm. Like he's
really good.
You know, it's. They had their defense is for real, and with Jimmy Garoppolo healthy and Tevin Coleman out of the backfield, oh my gosh!
So Breida, he's pretty good.
Yeah, Breida.
Yeah. Well, and they're supposed to have Jerick McKinnon. Poor guy's torn his ACL like back-to-back years. You know.
Yeah.
But Ben, so give me, aside from Wilson being a difference maker, who do you see stepping up, whether it's on the defense or on the offense?
I think
making a difference.
Yeah, obviously Bobby Wagner is probably the best player.
Don't even bring up Bobby Wagner.
Are you kidding?
No. He's a good player. I'm just still mad about last year.
Oh yeah. Well, hang on. But you can't be mad at him because the refs just didn't call it.
No. First, I can be mad at him because he was the one that made the decision to jump over to the center, put all of his weight on the center, push the center down, and block that field goal.
But
everybody in the NFL was like, "Oh, Bobby Wagner, he's the best player in the NFL."
No, but hang on.
It's like that was illegal. You can't say he's good when he's doing something that's illegal.
But hang on. So if I walk down the street, and this is all hypothetical, just before I really get down into this, and I shoot a man right in his face, and the cops see it, and they just look the other way. Can you be mad at me? I mean,
I can absolutely be mad at you if you shoot someone in the face.
A man's
what are you talking about? Yes, I am still mad at you, regardless of what the police are saying. That was probably the worst example on the face of the earth. The worst thing you could have ever done.
I was just trying to make a point that it's clear cops were watching and they let it go, so you can't be mad at him.
Yeah, I can be mad at both the cops and you.
But yes, I know. Yeah, I was just hypothetical. I do not have the intentions of killing anyone.
This podcast got real.
Goodness.
But speaking of Bobby Wagner, he does have 103 tackles this year. And Eric Kendricks only has 86. So I think it shows
he's
that.
He's definitely a good linebacker.
Right.
I mean, and people could say the same thing about Everson Griffin. He jumps off sides all the time, and he gets bit every once in a while, but every once in a while he gets a sack out of it. I suppose play what you can get away with. I'm more mad at the refs, but I'm still, that game last year. And so that was a game that we should have won in a year where we were quite frankly, a bad team. We ended the year 8-8. Right. We had a terrible offensive scheme. It was in Seattle, and it was a game that we could have won.
Yeah.
Really, they haven't made too many changes except for adding DK Metcalf. Rashad Penny and Chris Carson were still the running backs. Russell Wilson was obviously still there. they haven't done much to change the makeup of their team. So I think they're going to be similar to who we were playing last year.
I think the Lockett versus slot corner matchup, I'm assuming Mike Hughes, will be a huge matchup because
that is going to be huge.
He's the difference maker for their offense.
Absolutely.
I feel like. And if we can lock down him, the big receivers won't be as big of a problem for Xavier and Trey because they're not as good as some of the big receivers we've played in past weeks. So I think if Mike can do a good job on Lockett,
I think you're absolutely right.
So, quick question though: where's your confidence level at with Mike Hughes? Because I know I've been a little bit on the shaky side after what I've seen. I don't know what to make of it either.
No.
I think he's been pretty good.
Let me just hear what he has to say.
I think he's good enough to take on Lockett. He can't shut him down.
You think he's good enough to take him down, Lockett?
I don't think he can shut him down. I'm not saying he can shut him down, but I think he can
Ben is saying that he can shut him down. Ben is saying 0 receptions.
I'm going to side with Ben here. No, I'm going to side with Ben, and I'll tell you what. So you're thinking of the Mike Hughes that was forced to play outside against Amari Cooper in Dallas. This is the Mike Hughes that's playing nickel, and when you're playing nickel, it's speed versus speed. You know, he doesn't have to try to beat a guy with his size. He has the speed to beat somebody like a Tyler Lockett. And I think Xavier Rhodes and Trey Waynes have the size to beat a DK Metcalf.
But what I'm saying is Tyler Lockett is the number 1 wide receiver on that team. He's on the outside. They slip him in the slot every now and then, but I think he primarily is on the outside. Is he not?
I thought he's a slot receiver, but I might be wrong.
I think you're right. I think that when they brought DK Metcalf in, they've been doing a lot of a tight end sets. Mm-hmm. You see Hollister in there. Who's their other tight end?
The other one got hurt. Disley.
He was doing really well.
Was that Luke Wilson or is that
no? Will Disley.
It's Disley.
ACL.
Yeah. So I mean, they were doing a lot of those 2 tight end sets, but now I mean with Hollister, they were showing the Eagles some different looks. But you're right. I think I think regardless of who they put in the slot, I think Mike Hughes is going to be able to handle that.
Okay, but
the receivers that so Pete Carroll's philosophy on his receivers are big-bodied, go up and get the ball, but they're not quite as fast. I think both Trey and Xavier have the wingspan to defeat that, and they have the speed to overcome whatever receiver they put on the outside.
Well, I will say Seattle is definitely missing Doug Baldwin.
Oh, that was one. Did he retire?
Yeah, I think injuries were kind of mounting on him. But aside from Calvin Johnson being my all-time favorite non-Viking player, because I mean, what a
Megatron.
You could just marvel at that human being. You know?
Yes,
I miss you, Megatron. But Doug Baldwin was my second favorite non-Viking. Just his work ethic and his speed, and I always took him in fantasy, and I always did super duper well.
Hold on. No, you did not always take him in fantasy.
Yeah, I tried to.
The year I won the league. That trophy right over there with my name on it. I was in trouble, and I picked up Doug Baldwin like week 9 or 10 off the waiver wire.
Oh, and he must have been hurt then. He must have been hurt.
And I rode him all the way to the championship.
Yeah, so he was probably hurt. I just want to
stop. Because why was he on the waiver wire if you always pick him up?
Exactly, because Doug Baldwin is sitting on the freaking waiver wire in week 9, Sam.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he was on the waiver wire, but he was there and I picked him up. So 17-9. The Eagles defense, I thought, did a really good job. I think after the Vikings game, I haven't been really following them since, but I watched this game on Sunday, and from the Vikings game to now, they've made some strides. Mm-hmm. The Seahawks offense isn't nothing to write home about. They're talented. So Philadelphia was able to make some adjustments, but I still think the Vikings possess the better defense and the better scheme. I don't see Seattle being able to do anything near what they did to Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm. I do have one quick thing to say. I feel like one thing about Seattle is I feel like in the majority of the games this year they've fallen behind. Like the first half, like they've been behind. I think against the Bucs it was like 24-3, was it not?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. And so along with the Vikings having that resilience factor this year, I think Seattle always has that with Russell Wilson, and you will not be able to count them out until that clock is zero.
And I think. I think what kind of buried Philadelphia wasn't necessarily that the Seahawks defense was so good. I think it was just that their offense just was so bad. They had their 2 starting wide receivers, Nelson Aguilar and Alshon Jeffrey were out. Jordan Howard was out. They had a lot of their key guys out. And you posted a video in our group chat, but Dan Orlovsky broke down some plays where Carson Wentz threw the ball exactly where he was supposed to be. There were 3 plays, and I think at least 2. I think 2 of them were for touchdowns, where the receiver did the wrong thing. He wasn't where he was supposed to be.
And it's the details is what he kept saying. It's the little things.
And it's all in the details. So I don't think Seattle's defense was necessarily shutting down the Philadelphia offense. I think the Philadelphia offense was shooting themselves in the foot.
Right. It was just a really sloppy game. They had a lot of turnovers, and it just wasn't.
A lot of turnovers.
So,
a good look.
Side topic. Ben, I see you're wearing a Diggs jersey.
Yes.
Where, you just went and bought that at the store?
Nope, I did not. I got it as a gift from my big sister Maddie.
Shout out Maddie.
Shout out Maddie. Yep. She works with the NFL at her ad agency, and they did a commercial for Thursday Night Football, and they left the Vikings jersey behind, so I got the Diggs jersey.
So
I think that's just...
So the jersey you're wearing is not only Stephon Diggs, the number one wide receiver in all of football. Maybe not statistically, but in our hearts.
No,
sure.
He is
number one wide receiver in all of football. Best cleat game in the NFL for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Not only does that jersey have that man's name and number on there, but that jersey was featured on a commercial for the National Football League.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yep.
We've never had a celebrity like this before.
I know. I feel
I'm
honored.
honored. We're gonna get autographs after the game, after the show.
But yeah, so that was the other. So turnovers was the other issue that the Eagles had. They had 4 fumbles that fell on the ground. They lost 2 of them. No, I'm sorry. They lost 3 of those fumbles, and they recovered 1 of them. But putting the ball on the ground 4 times, are you kidding me? Carson Wentz did it 3 times, and Dallas Goedert did it once. But man, I can't believe that. And I don't even think, again, I think that was things where the snap got messed up. I'm not sure how many times the Seattle punched it out. I don't think it was a lot.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think a few of them were strip sacks, but most of them I think they just fell on the ground. I think Wentz had a pick as well, so they had another turnover there too.
You are correct. He had 2 interceptions. He had 2. So, yeah, I just think that Philadelphia, they lost that game more than Seattle won that game.
Right. Well, and Clowney was out too. So
yeah.
it was a bad
is
sign
he
that
supposed to be out again, or what's the deal with that?
I don't know.
Hopefully, but I mean,
Here's
hopefully
the
for the
hoping.
Vikings' sake, but not good for him.
Here's another interesting tidbit. It probably doesn't mean anything, but it's definitely worth noting. Seattle is 6-0 on the road. So their 2 losses have come at home with their so-called 12th man. So I think it bodes well for the Vikings going into Seattle. And I think we have one more road game against Seattle and one more road game against the Los Angeles Chargers, and then we are home free with 3 home games.
Yep.
3 divisional games too.
3 divisional games. Yeah.
Okay, so I need someone to give me a full breakdown on how Pete Carroll chooses gum. Ben, you're on the spot.
I have not seen that. How bad is it?
You've never seen Pete Carroll chew gum?
No.
Here's what he does. He takes a large piece of vulcanized rubber, puts it in his mouth, and tries to chew it into a fine paste.
Does that help paint the picture?
It paints a picture for sure.
It's very aggressive, almost too aggressive.
Yeah, and I will say more than... Pete Carroll's one of those guys that pisses me off when I see him on ESPN, because the energy is just 24/7, and it could be anything. Literally, someone could get a yard. He's just out. He's kind of like a more animated Jason Garrett.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was gonna say the same thing, but it, more often than not, the Seattle is producing.
Yeah, right.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's easy to hate Pete Carroll, just because he gets so animated and does all that. Dude is old. Like, I think he's in his 70s, right? And to have that energy, that's pretty impressive. The other thing that it is annoying to watch Pete Carroll, but I do respect the fact that he is a student of the game. He definitely understands how to scheme very, very well. He understands football, and I think he's a dangerous brain. On par with Belichick. He almost took down Belichick in the Super Bowl.
Right.
For some reason, he decided to pass on the 1-yard line with Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. I'll never understand that. But I think beyond that, I think he's a fantastic football mind.
And to that, I think he knows that he needs to do whatever it takes to win, because like last year, start of the year, they struggled and they kept throwing the ball a bunch, and he got rid of his offensive play calling duties and gave it to Schottenheimer. And then from then on, they went run heavy, and it clearly worked for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Helped them make the playoffs, and it's worked well this year too.
100%.
So Ben, who is your favorite Viking player this year?
Ooh.
And who you got?
I've loved Everson's comeback, so I love that he's come back. But Eric Kendricks, he's just all over the field.
Dude, we talk about Kendricks all day. Yeah, he's just. What do you have anything more to say on it? Well, what do you love about him? What's he doing?
I just love his motor. He's always making plays. He's always near the ball, and he's smart.
I think I saw a stat today that he has 3 more pass breakups than the next leading linebacker in coverage.
His coverage is phenomenal.
It's just incredible.
The play against the Cowboys.
Yep.
Oh, the very end. Chills. Literal chills.
Yep.
Well, that was after
Zeke.
Cook almost fumbled too, and then we had to punt a really bad punt. It was jeez.
That was more of a heart attack than chills when Cook put the ball on the ground. But that let's just never talk about that ever again.
Yeah, no, we won.
We won. That's all that matters.
Hey, we won.
I got one more question for Ben though. Since he's not a frequent guest on the show, I don't get his opinion as often. Are you surprised that we're 8-3 at all?
No,
not at all.
I mean, no. I expected us to be good. We've got a talented roster, and I've been a believer in Kirk, so like I believe that he could get us here. But I maybe didn't expect us to get those losses, in the way that we got them.
Sure,
but I did expect us to be 8-3.
So I just have another follow-up question. Can I make the argument that Kirk Cousins has been playing as great as he has due to the players that are surrounding him? Or are you saying that this is how he would be playing even if he didn't have Diggs and Thielen and Cook?
I think it's been partially the players and an improvement in the play calling. The play calling really frustrates me at times. And if we had Shermer the past 2 years, I think we would have been a phenomenal team last year.
Shermer might be a free agent here at the end of the year. Not saying we pick him up because I think Stefanski's done a really good job.
Yeah. My only issue with Stefanski on that note that you're saying is I feel like the adjustments are just a little too late.
Right.
When in games that clearly the game plan isn't working. You know what I mean?
The second and long runs always frustrate me.
Right.
Like second and 12, and then we're running a dive.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
So to bring up what's going on in the world. It is Thanksgiving this week.
It sure
is.
is.
I think we should all go around the table and say what we're thankful for.
I love that. Ben, why don't you go first? I got to quick pull something up here.
Well, of course, I'm thankful for family, but I'm thankful for the fact that...
This is in a Vikings context. You don't have to do the...
Of course.
Family.
Yeah. I'm thankful for Kirk Cousins playing as well as he has and silencing all his haters because Viking fans can get really annoying.
Are you talking about me?
Not you. Not you.
I'm talking about you, Pat.
You know what, Sam? We're done after this.
I think this is like the 4th time you threatened to quit on the podcast.
Yeah, well, it's a joke. Along with me saying I would kill a man. Back to your Thanksgiving.
Thankful for Kirk, and I'm thankful for Everson being back and being ready to play football and getting back to his old self. Because having him and Daniil on opposite sides,
and even beyond football, having Everson back mentally, it's good for his health, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
Pat,
so this is a strictly Thanksgiving Viking?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Or NFL.
So don't say I'm thankful for my family and my health.
No.
Yeah, I'm not happy that I'm healthy and that I'm doing okay.
Me neither.
What am I thankful for? I'm thankful that Kirk Cousins has managed to shut me up every time that I've had to say something bad. You know, that's what I'm thankful for. If there's anything I've noticed this year,
I'm thankful that Kirk Cousins has shut you up.
If there's any, but. Again, I'm going to quick say, you do need to thank Dalvin Cook for everything he has done as well.
He's been phenomenal.
Okay? So, Kirk Cousins is, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, I'm happy. Life is good. But Cook has been helpful. And the last person I'm thankful for, I feel like Mike Zimmer has taken a lot of heat this year for his defense not being where it is. And I still think that he is still one of the top 5 coaches in the league, regardless of how the defense is doing. And I'm just still thankful that we have him because our prior history of Leslie Frazier and Brad Childress. You know what I mean? It's very easy to get mad at him and forget where we came from. So I'm thankful for Mike.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm thankful for a few things. I'm thankful for Eric Kendricks and his ability to cover, do work and pass coverage. That's nice. I am very thankful for Stephon Diggs. With Adam Thielen going down with his hamstring injury, we've always said you can't double team both of them, but Adam Thielen's been out and Diggs has still been feasting. And so he's proving that he's not just a complementary piece to Adam Thielen, but he is genuinely a guy that can beat the defense even when he's double covered. Thankful for Kirk and the fact that he's shutting you up every week. This week specifically, I am thankful for the San Francisco 49ers and Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo. Yes. And Pat, most of all, I'm thankful for you and the podcast we're doing.
I was going to quick chime in and say the same after you were finished. So Yeah,
sweet.
I'm glad we're doing this, bud.
Yeah, me too.
I want to quick interject. So we have to answer one quick fan question. He left a comment for us on our 2 episodes ago. I don't even know. Oh, the Denver game. So his question. So Ben, I want to ask you first. So this is Tyler. He said we should talk about how in late games the past 3 weeks we could not get a first down on our final drives. And I think he's referring to Dallas, Kansas City, and then even Denver. And how we just weren't able to, get that first down to kill the clock, basically. Instead, we had to punt and then put ourselves up against the wall again and then do that last second defensive stand. What is it? Is it do we just not have that, like, where Aaron Rodgers steps in there? I know not this year, but I'm referring to the past, where he just had that, you had that confidence to him and you knew he was getting that first down. You know what I mean? Is it a QB thing? Is it a coaching thing? Are we too predictable just trying to run the clock? What do you got?
I think we're too predictable and too conservative. I think we need to let Dalvin get in space on first down and try to let him make a play. And then instead of just running second down 2, maybe you let Kirk take a shot on second down to pick up the first.
And expanding on that, not even our offense, but I hate our hurry-up defense.
Yeah.
Bend, don't break. Let's let him get all the way down the field in 30 seconds and then try to hold him at the end zone. It's like, come on. I'm not a fan of that either.
Yep. So how, what can we do about our last final offensive drive, or if we just get one first down, we ice the game and it's over? What is it? Because I've wondered the same thing. I'm willing for us to pick up our balls, put it on the table, and go 5 wide.
We did that. Who do we? That was against Detroit.
Yeah,
where we were killing the clock and we went deep to Diggs.
They went deep to Diggs. So I'm saying, if you got man-to-man coverage, I'm willing to bet. If you got Diggs, Cook, and then we'll just say Thielen's not in them right now, both of them are 1-to-1. You can't tell me that they're not going to get away from a linebacker, Cook, especially on a slant route. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Or even Diggs on a slant too. You know what I mean? So I don't know. One of these games is going to bite us in the butt.
All right, so we'll do a quick keys to success and then go over the spread and we'll sign off.
Score predictions too. We'll do those.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so Pat, what are our keys to success?
All right, it's such an obvious answer, but Dalvin Cook needs to have 30-plus carries this game. And I'm saying this might be a game where please, God Almighty, do not let us run through the trenches like we do against the Bears and even Kansas City, where it just wasn't working, and I was just begging for a couple more extra pitches to Cook. You know what I mean? So this is going to have to be a game where we do focus running up the middle, but we need to pitch it to Cook. And so if he can get going, then we can activate our play action, and we know Kirk is the best in the league with play action. So that is my heavy focus. And contain Wilson. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
Contain
well,
him.
and to that point, and I agree with you. So what other teams have been doing to defeat Kansas City earlier in the year was keeping their offense off the field.
Yeah, right.
So doing exactly what you said, running the ball 30 times a game, killing the clock even early on in the game. I really think that Seattle's offense is the strength of their team, and if the less time they have the ball, the better. Mm-hmm. All right, Ben.
I'd say turnover battle, just because we saw how big that was last week for them with the Eagles. And then point of attack, not just us running the ball, but stopping them running the ball, because they run the ball in the top 5% of the league for carries per game. So if we can stop Carson and Penny at the line of scrimmage, that'll be huge for us.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think our biggest key to success not only is keeping the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands, but making sure plays don't get broken, because he's like a slippery Aaron Rodgers, where a play breaks and he can just let the ball rip downfield and see what happens, and that's how I think they get a lot of their plays. I think if we can just keep them off the field and just keep long drives alive, I think we'll come out of this game a winner. All right, so Vegas has this game. Seattle is the favorite by 3 points, and typically, like I said,
that's pretty fair.
Good.
Typically, like I said, they usually give 3 points to the home team, and that's not just a betting. That's an actual real deal, because the crowd plays a factor in the game. Making sure the offense can't hear a play or an oddball or things like that. So it's 3 legitimate points, but put them on a neutral field, the talent is even. So yeah, I think Seattle by 3 is a good line. I think the Vikings are going to be able to overcome that. I think it's going to be it'll be a fairly close game. I see the Vikings winning 24-10.
Ben, what do you got for score prediction?
Pretty similar score. I think 24-20. I think it'll be a pretty close game.
All right.
We'll pull it
I've got 31-10 Vikings. I'm telling you, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Pat's feeling real good.
I'm not nervous for this at all.
All right, let's all 3 of us knock on wood at the exact same time.
Let's not knock over any cameras, and let's just not.
But the spirit of knocking on wood is real.
The spirit of knocking on wood is here.
Yeah. Well, and I guarantee, especially coming out of the bye week, the Vikings have been looking at this game. They've been focusing on this game. They've been studying up. They're not sleeping on the Seahawks, and I think they're going to come out well prepared.
My final point, too, though, I think with the Packers losing, I think that is everything that they need right here to go above and beyond in this game. I think that's everything.
100% agree with you, but again, this game is going to be played after the Baltimore 49ers game. So I think if the 49ers lose, that's going to give the same boost of energy to the Seahawks. It's going to be a tough game. I just hate the fact that Booger McFarland is calling it. I just cannot express my hatred enough.
And then we've got Monday Night Football against the Packers too, and it's ESPN. Whatever. Anyways,
all right.
But Ben, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
We like to have a guest sprinkled in every now and then to break up the annoyance that is Sam and I. No, I'm kidding.
Ben, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate
you guys
taking the time out of your day.
Of course.
All right, so join us next time on Diggs.Sideline.Podcast. We'll be reviewing the Vikings-Seahawks game, what's hopefully going to be a Vikings win. So until then, Skol Vikings.